I'm Morgan, and today I am very excited to tell you about how I went to Planet Comic-Con. And this was the 25th year of Planet Comic-Con, so that was like really super cool. And in case you didn't know, Neopets was there. I ended up going, I think, like Saturday and Sunday with my sister. So for the first day, I ended up wearing a Neopets dress, a blue Neopets dress, with just like, you know, a comfortable like black like sweater and a Neopets pin on it that says Neopets Kid. It's got like a little blue Akara. And I wore, of course, my Vogue mask. And another fun detail is I have this little yellow walkie plushie. I think this is one of the old, like, I think these used to be given out in McDonald's Happy Meals like ages and ages ago. But I have it pinned, I had it pinned to my hair. So yeah, I absolutely adore walkies because my little darling active pet most of the time is a baby walkie. So, oh, and the line was kind of confusing to get into the convention. So, my sister and I actually accidentally ended up lining for like the people who bought their tickets ahead of time line, and that was like stretched all the way outside. But we ended up finding out that was the wrong line, and we ended up like following someone else into the area to buy our tickets. And it turns out that line was like barely a line, like that was so much quicker. So I don't know, for once, like waiting to do something to the last minute actually worked out for the best, like for once. Let's see. Okay, oh my gosh. So the thing I was absolutely most excited for, obviously, was Neopets, because I've been playing since I was like 8 years old, and my current account is from when I was like 9. So I've been obsessed with the site for like ages, and I got a photo with this beautiful pink. I'm not sure if that's pink or red. Because you know on Neopets they have different types of paintbrushes, and I'm not sure which one that technically would be. Yeah, here's a photo of me posing there. Oh, and also my backpack is also a Neopets one, and it's got a lot of little baby Neopets on it. There were so many other people at the convention with that exact backpack. There was also one person with like a fairy Neopets backpack, but I saw so many people with like the same backpack as me. It was so cool. Oh, and this is a photo of me and my sister with Aisha. I blurred her face for privacy. Oh, and this is a photo of me with a Soup Fairy cosplayer. So the Soup Fairy is a character on Neopets who will feed your pets if you have like less than a certain amount of Neopoints, and it's like a ridiculously low amount of Neopoints. Oh, and this was like Saturday night. I ended up okay, so what happened is like one of the women approached me and was like, "Hey, do you play Neopets or something?" I can't remember her exact words, but she seemed to recognize / pick up on the fact that I'm a Neopets fan. And she is a Neopian Times like comic artist. Like she does a lot of comics for the Neopian Times, and she was there with her other friend who also does like comics for the Neopian Times. Like we all talked together for a little bit. I've only gotten like one thing published in the Neopian Times, unless you include editorials. I think I've gotten some editorial questions in there before. One of them was me like fangirling Exandra. But oh well. Yeah, I met some like people who did like art for the Neopian Times and stuff, which was just like super cool, super amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I loved the Neopian Times when I was like a kid. But I mean, I didn't like I was having trouble remembering like what their series were, because the more I've looked into it, I'm like, okay, I think they were mostly publishing at times when I mostly read the Neopian Times when I was like a bit younger, and so they were mostly publishing more at a time when I was like less into the Neopian Times, because I was older and had more things, like other things that I was doing instead. So it's like I think that's why I like didn't really recognize what they wrote at first. but they're very, very skilled. Like, I don't know if I want to say talented or skilled, because like I think a lot of times, like with creative stuff, like we assume talent, but it's usually skills built up and owned over time. So like I don't want to be like, oh, it's just talent, when it's like it's skill. They're super, super ultra skilled. And it was just so cool. It was so cool meeting other Neopets fans in the wild. It was just so cool. And it's just, I don't know, it's so cool. And they were just like super nice. They were super nice. I don't know. I feel like I really struggle with small talk, but I can talk for like hours about Neopets. But I think I ended up having to leave because my sister and I were heading out of the convention for the night around then. Okay. And then, okay. So Sunday there was a Neopets panel. There was a Neopets panel. It was titled Neopets Turns 25, a look into the past, present, and future of Neopia. And the description was, come and celebrate 25 years of Neopets. We'll discuss upcoming news from the Neopets team, fan theories, how the site has changed in the past 25 years, and play mini games. And I'm like trying not to like scream right now. It was awesome. And I ended up dressing as Gilly from the Tale of Woe plot. I'm not entirely sure if her name is actually supposed to be pronounced Gilly or Jilly, but I always pronounced it Gilly, like gillyweed, because I don't know, the hard G made more sense to me. And I love her. She's from the Tale of Woe plot, which came out when I was like 8 years old. And I always imagined I super identified with Gilly. Out of all the characters and like all the plots, like I super identified with her because I was like the same age as her-ish when the comics theoretically took place. Like, so I'm not entirely sure how old she is in the plot, but she seems to be like upper elementary age. Like, so I'm like, I super identified with her. And I love the Tale of Woe plot. It's so good. It's just, it has so much about like, just so much, it's just beautiful. I'm struggling to find the words to describe it, but it has a lot of like strong female characters in it, and it's about kind of like be careful what you wish for, and like it has kind of like elements to like not time travel, but like a place that's been like frozen in time, and so it's so amazing. It's such an amazing plot. And also she shows up in, I think, the Castle of Elive Thade, which is an anagram type game. I suck at that. I'm not very good at anagrams, but I know she's also in that. So I've actually not cosplayed. I dressed up as her for Halloween one time, like many years ago. So I had the cape, and the cape is from, I think my mother found it at a thrift store, and I already had the mittens. And then I had just like a white shirt, a gray skirt with it. And I didn't have like her exact shoes, so I just went with some like brown shoes and socks. Oh, and of course I wear my Vogue mask because like they serve food at the convention and I don't want to die. So, okay, let me go on to the next picture right here. Oh, and this is a selfie of me at the convention. And and the wig. Okay, the wig was, if I remember right, from Arta Wigs. And I think it was one of their like chibi pigtail wigs. Anyways, this wig was not originally meant for this character. It was kind of a dyeing mishap where I tried dyeing it with like orange dye or red dye. I think it was orange dye, and it turned out like way too bright. But I ended up realizing like, hey, this is perfect for Gilly. And it also had like choppy bangs, and it's like her character kind of has really choppy hair. But I mean, technically I think it's supposed to be like longer over this area, but it's like, I want to be able to see. So, and then, oh my gosh. So this is me taking a photo of like the display outside of the panel room, like the thing that just said the Neopets panel. It's kind of like, it was kind of like reflective, so the text isn't very clear. And at first, like, I got there super early. Okay, before that, I just want to complain and be like, the bathroom situation at the convention was terrible. Like, it was terrible because I think there were like the first bathroom I tried to go to, it's like apparently like the toilets weren't flushing, and the people ahead of me were like, we don't recommend going in here. So I went to try and find other bathrooms. The next two I tried to go to were closed. And then eventually I found a bathroom that worked. So anyways, I would have been to the Neopets panel to line up even earlier if that whole situation was better. Anyways, so I lined up ahead of the panel, like kind of ahead of time, because I'd already gone through the vendors hall mostly on Saturday. So like I didn't really have anything else I was planning to do then. I was just trying to get to the Neopets panel early. And my sister was originally sitting there with me, but she ended up going to do something else, which is very disappointing because she used to play Neopets, but she doesn't anymore. I don't think she's really played for like ages now. Which is frustrating because like at one point like a bunch of my family played Neopets, but now I'm the only one who plays. So that made me kind of like sad. But I got to talk, like at first we were sitting like in chairs and I got to talk to some other people. And like I think they were like, there were other fans there, so it was really cool. It was really, really cool. And for some reason, I was thinking this might have been after the panel, but I ended up meeting someone who I think, who I think I kind of like casually know / am acquaintances with on Jelly Neo. Like sometimes we were in the comment sections and interact with each other, and like I didn't realize that was them. But that person brought their Lord Cass. Wait, yeah, it's Lord Cass. I was confused Cass and Daragon. But this Lord Cass figurine, and that's apparently like super ancient, but it was super cool. So this guy brought that, and that was super cool to see in person. That was amazing. And then, so the people, some of the staff at the convention ended up having us all like line up and not sit in chairs, just actually line up. And it was amazing because it's like, there was an actual line for a Neopets panel. Like, bruh, I never see anyone who like actually knows Neopets in real life anymore. So it was just amazing. Just, oh my gosh, it was like hearing people say like, line up for Neopets, line for Neopets here, Neopets. And it's like, oh my God, I'm finally hearing this in the wild. Like, I'm sorry. This is like my obsession. This is like literally like my most obsession ever. And so it was just awesome. There were like 3 rows of lines. And then because we would otherwise be blocking the hall, they had other people line up kind of around at the other side facing us. And it was just like, it was amazing. There was a line for a Neopets panel. That made me so happy. And then I ended up sitting like towards the front because like I wanted to get a photo of this one cosplayer, and so I asked to take a photo, and then I ended up being like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of in the way here. Like, are any of these seats taken? And they were like, no. But okay, so all the seats had like Neopets calendars on them, like free Neopets calendars. So that was cool. After this convention, I have like 5. I have like 5 Neopets calendars because I got like 3 when I ordered my Neo hoods, and then I ended up getting one for subscribing to Neopets on like social media on Saturday. Like they had something where it's like, follow this QR code, subscribe to them, or follow them on such and such social media, you get a free calendar. And I was already subscribed to them on like I was already following them on like Facebook. How do I put this? Don't try and find me there. Like Facebook is very much so something that is like, I don't know. I'm mostly there for like a couple of groups and to follow Neopets, I guess. That sounds so dumb. Like, sorry, not dumb, but that sounds so ridiculous. Like, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I like following Neopets. It's, I sound a little bit zealous. I mean, I guess I am a little bit zealous. But there's Neopets Turns 25, a look into the past, present, and future of Neopia with TNT Ivy, TNT Celeste, and Big Aisha. I'm not sure if that's how you say that, but either way, it's like they turn 25 on, I think it's November 15th of 2024, because Neopets was created in like November 15th of 1999. So, but on the site, it's considered like year 26 because the Neopian calendar system is convoluted. But yeah, this was just amazing. Sorry, I don't mean to like blow your eardrums. And then they had like introductions, and there's this little Kachik with balloons, and there's this little Aisha with like these little fairy wings, and it's just so cute. Oh, and I love the stars and stuff because the Neopets logo has like stars in it. Okay. And then they did like, what is Neopets, to kind of explain to people who had been dragged to the panel by their friends and relatives. Because one of the girls like this woman I was standing with in line who I tried to talk to, she, like, I'm bad at small talk, but talk about Neopets and I can talk for hours. But she, I think brought her significant other and he wasn't like super into the site. So I think this was really helpful to have just because, yeah, even though the panel mostly has super fans, there are also friends and relatives being dragged along. So and there's this little show area with like a party thingy on the side here. What is Neopets? A classic browser game where players can adopt virtual pets, customize your Neopets, chat on the Neoboards, join a guild, play mini games, participate in community events, run a shop, and take on foes in the Battle Dome. And then the Neopia of yesteryear, it kind of like went into some of the history, like Neopets 101, launched November 1999, 600,000 daily page views by December, investors bought in by early 2000. And I think that's when the site kind of goes controversial. If I remember correctly, I don't have a proper source on this, but if I remember right, one of the reasons that like discussion of religion was kind of like banned on the site and probably still is that some of the early investors were Scientologists. And so the founders of the site were like, oh my gosh, we don't want to have the site be used to promote this, like promote a religion. So I think that's part of why the no talk about religion thing kind of came into being. But I don't have a proper source on this. So it could be like me just hearing something through the grapevine and it could be completely false. And through the grapevine, I think means like through a friend of a friend of a friend, etc. Viacom took over in 2005, so that was shortly before I started playing. Sorry, my headphones went out on me there. But yeah, Viacom owned the site for most of when I was playing. And Jumpstart took over in 2014, and that was sad because when Jumpstart took over, that's when Pet Park closed. So that was very sad to me. And I feel like the site kind of was definitely had some issues where it was going downhill because if I remember correctly, there was some major server change that caused like outrageous amounts of lag for a long time. And then World of Neopia Inc. established in 2023. But at some point, if I remember correctly, somehow it ended up being sold to NetDragon before it ended up under World of Neopia. But yeah, I like where the site's going. I really like the new, like, I guess like whoever's in charge of it now, it feels like they're actually reinvesting into the site and actually care about it in the long term rather than just like, I don't know. I felt like with like Viacom, more so with Pet Park. With Pet Park, it felt like towards the end, the push was to sell as many memberships as possible and sell as much NC items as possible rather than actually like trying to keep the site going. It felt like a cash grab by the end. So, and I felt like Neopets, like, here's the thing. It's like, I do understand that like companies need to make money to stay alive, but I want the site to be around for the long term. And so I do think that there needs to be focus in keeping the site playable and like making sure that there is new content to keep the current user base engaged and stuff. So it's like, I really prefer when like it feels like the company legitimately wants to stay around. And I feel like with the new like ownership, it's like I feel like they actually legitimately care about keeping Neopets going and keeping it engaging, not only for existing players but new players. So sorry to ramble, but I'm like, that's my long way of saying that I really do think that Neopets is going in a better direction than it was before. And that's my personal opinion. And also, like, this is not financial advice or whatever. I just feel like I should say a disclaimer there. Oh, and then there was a trivia game, but I didn't get chosen for this. But the Alien Aisha and the Amira cosplayer did get chosen for this. And Amira is from, I think, the Lost Desert plot. And possibly there's some earlier event on the site that was like way before my time about like the poisoning of King Coulson, and she might have been part of that event too. But yeah, it was having to match like early Neopets like to current Neopets, and I knew in my head what each of them were, so I was like cheering and clapping like as soon as they got them right. And so it was definitely something that like only people who had been playing for like ages or people who really cared about the lore would know. So I thought that was really cool, and it had like Macy Gray and the Fly and the Tatsu and stuff. So oh, and then it went to like contemporary Neopian happenings. So the Void Within plot, that's kind of been, how do I put this? That's been hinted at in the advent calendar. I think that's what the advent calendar was hinting at, but I don't know when that's going to be. Like, I don't know when the Void Within plot's actually going to start. And then some Tales of Arcadia mobile game. I'm not really into mobile games, so other than maybe, okay, Clash of Clans. I like Clash of Clans. Neopets Battle Dome trading card game, San Diego Comic-Con 2024, Fairies Hope mobile game, and new plush and other collectibles. I love me some Neopets merch. Like, I know that yeah, financially, I probably shouldn't be buying a bunch of Neopets merch, but I love Neopets merch. So, oh my gosh. And then there were some like the Void Within comic teasers, but for some reason I'm thinking those had already been ones that we've seen on the site. And that's, okay, apparently Orion is pronounced Orion and not Orion or whatever. Apparently it's like Orion. So it's interesting. It was super, like, it was wild. It was just like amazing hearing people like pronounce the Neopets names and stuff, because it's like, a lot of the times it's like, how the heck are these supposed to be pronounced? Because English spellings are like that. So it was cool hearing how some of these words and names were actually supposed to be said, because I've been calling Aisha Aisha for years. Like, I've always called it Aisha, but apparently it's like Aisha. So yeah, or apparently he's Orion. Oh, and then there were some more of these. I think these are all from the advent calendar though. Okay, the Void Within fan theories, and they kind of opened it up to the audience to be able to like share, okay, what are your theories about this upcoming teased plot? And like, I don't know, like, I'm more interested in discussing like existing lore than this newfangled stuff, so this part wasn't the most exciting in the world to me. But I do think it would, like, what I really hope to hear out of this like upcoming plot is like, I want to know the backstory on the alien Aishas. So oh, and then they talked about like 25th anniversary and beyond. So special 25th anniversary merch, continued repairs to the classic site. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. I really want Hannah and the Pirate Caves to work so I can try and get that freaking avatar. And also, it's such an amazing game. And also, I want to be able to like decorate my classic Neo home. I'm just saying, like, I loved classic Neo home so much, and okay, I spent so many Neo points on wooden snowflake sculptures because I tried to do like this thing called tiling, which is where you try and make existing furniture items look like different furniture. And so like I miss classic Neo home so much. And then I just want to point out Battle Slices stamp. So they did this thing called Kiss the Mortog, which is like so the staff members held up like these 3 like signs that had like Mortogs on the front, and then it would have like an explosion on the back, or else the princess on the back, and they chose people from the audience to come up and like try and guess the Mortog. And Kiss the Mortog's a game on the site, so it's like based off of that. And they ended up giving out items to everyone who like played it, on-site items. My eyes are just like my eyes went like so. I am like, I don't know how to describe like what was going through my brain when I saw the Battle Slices stamp on there. I was just like, my brain like knew that's worth money. That's worth Neo points. That is worth a whole lot. Like, I immediately, like, my eyes were set on that thing. And I ended up being chosen to go, like, I was so, like, avidly trying to get up there. I got chosen second. So, and for some reason, the person before me, like, I don't know why, but they did not choose the Battle Slices stamp. And I'm like, that's, like, worth like the most out of anything on there. They chose something else. So I was like so like overjoyed, like over freaking joyed to see that the Battle Slices stamp was still available for me to choose. So I ended up choosing that, and I got to type in my little username and my little email on this like Excel spreadsheet. And that night, like the TNT, the Neopets staff ended up sending me a Battle Slices stamp in my inventory, and it was like the most amazing thing to come home to after the convention. Like, I don't want to give out too much geographic info, but I'm just like, this was not super close by, so this was a long car ride. So yeah, it was just such an amazing thing to come home to the Battle Slices stamp. And like, I just want to say, like, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I think I looked this up in the panel, like, to see how much it actually cost. And it costs, like, Jello Neo has this listed at, my gosh. Well, I don't have those Neo points because I put it in my stamp album, but has it listed as like 600 million Neo points. And that was just like, that's the equivalent of winning Mega Millions. Like, if you think of real life winning Mega Millions, like, this is the Neopets equivalent of that. But I ended up putting the stamp in my stamp album because it's like, I could never avoid this on my own. And so I'm like, I'm going to try and complete the Battle Dome stamp page. I'm going to try and do that because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I will probably never, ever be able to afford the Battle Slices stamp ever again if I sell it. So I was like, let's put it in my stamp album. Let's try for the Battle Dome stamp page, because if you complete that page, you get an avatar. And it's like definitely one of the hardest avatars to obtain on the site of the ones that are technically still obtainable. So like, yeah. I'm just like, that was just freaking amazing. That was just like a highlight of my, like, that was like, just, my brain is still like overjoyed. Like, if you don't play Neopets, you have no idea how big of a deal this is. Like, this is just like the biggest deal. Oh my gosh. My heart is still like beating from that. Like, that was just like, oh. Okay, what's the next panel? Oh yeah. And like, I was just so much thinking of that. Like, I kind of barely remember what else happened at the panel after that. Thank you for joining us. Follow us on social media. Follow us on socials to keep up with the latest Neopets news. So yeah, I kind of don't know why they don't just post more on the new futures page or whatever it's called, but okay. Oh, and I wanted to let you all know, the person who was sitting next to me in the panel actually like recorded the panel, like, and it's actually really good quality. I think they were holding up one of those little, like, it was like something that keeps the camera or whatever like stabilized and kind of like gets a better view. So they recorded like pretty, I would say really good quality, like a video of the panel, and they are Chowder Says on YouTube, and the video is titled Neopets Turns 25 2024 Planet Comic-Con Kansas City panel. So if that's something that you are interested in, like seeing that full panel, then you can go and watch Chowder Says' YouTube video. Oh, and here I wanted to talk about some of the cosplayers that I saw who were like Neopets cosplayers, and I have done my best to like try and blur out faces and other like super identifying stuff. Like, I'm not really skilled in what's it called? I think I used GIMP because like that's what I had available. So like, I'm not super skilled at photo editing or anything like that. So I just did my best. But this is the Amira cosplayer who I was like super excited to see and asked to get a photo of towards the beginning. And look at, like, she has little Aisha ears, and oh my gosh, like it's so beautiful. Like, and even like the jewelry is like on point. It's such a well done cosplay. Okay. Oh, and this was Talia. I can't remember if it's like Telia or Italia, but this is I think like the Snow Fairy on Terra Mountain. And I love like the fur coat. Like, it's just like I I don't entirely know how that person, like, I tried to ask, but I forget what they said. Like how they attach the fur, because it's just like it looks so seamless. Like I don't know how they did it, but it looks seamless. It looks really good. And they also had like this really sparkly dress. Oh, and someone I can't remember who. But someone gave one of the TNT staff members a Tyranian paintbrush, like a real life Tyranian paintbrush. And I just thought that was like super cool, and I wanted to take a photo of it. So I asked to take a photo of it. Oh, and this is a photo of some of the cosplayers who were at the Neopets panel. So there's the alien Aisha. There's me dressed as Gilly. I didn't have like ears or anything. And then there is the Amira, the Aisha, and then there's like Talia, the Snow Fairy. And there were also some Super cosplayers, but I didn't get them in this photo. And actually, so I can't remember, like, I don't entirely know who took the photo for me, but I know I handed it off to someone and asked them to take the photo for me. So, like, credit where credit is due. I just don't know who to credit. Sorry. Oh, and then this, I had to wait until like 3 p.m. for the Aisha to get back to the booth. Sorry. I mean, I know it's technically a human inside the costume, but for the person, the human, to get back in the costume to take a photo with it, because it's so cool. It's like a life-size Neopet. It's just so freaking cool. And there's me in my Gilly outfit next to the Aisha. And the staff members were so nice. Like one of the things I remember is one of them had like the prettiest hair. It was like blue, but they had like sparkles added to it, and just, it was so pretty. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to talk about some of the other cosplayers that I saw at the convention, because even though I was clearly like most obsessed about Neopets everything, there were lots of other cosplayers. So this is Erica from Barbie is the Princess and the Pauper, and I recognized the skirt actually, and that's how I knew, like, oh my gosh, you're Erica, and I asked to take her photo. So this is an Erica cosplayer, and I just thought it was really cool. Oh, and then there was like a Nightmare Before Christmas themed, like, I don't know if they're friends or couples cosplay or what, but it was like Sally, and I think that's Oogie Boogie. But I loved, oh my gosh, one of the things I love about Sally's like cosplay, and you can't really see it, I think, because I'd have to be super close up to take the photo of it, but the stitches on like the sleeves, those are hand sewn with what looks like embroidery thread. Like it looked like it must have taken like a lot of time to add those details, and they were just beautiful. Like it was just so on point. Oh, and then there was a Mad Eye Moody cosplayer. Again, I've tried to like blur faces for the most part, just because I know that not everyone on the internet's nice. And so I wanted to protect people's privacy. So yeah, there was a Mad Eye Moody cosplayer, and I really love the eye. Oh, and this was one of the guests, like one of the actual like major guests at the convention. She is a cosplayer, like one of their cosplay guests, and I think she was one of the judges at the contest, but I didn't go to see the contest. But she was dressed on Sunday as Dandelion from The Witcher 3, and I just immediately was like, oh my gosh, it's Dandelion. I'm not sure if that's what I said. I might have been calmer. Like I was just very excited that weekend. I was super excited, okay. But she cosplayed Dandelion, and it was just so like, just the like up close, the details were freaking amazing. Oh, and she was Be the Spark cosplay, and I feel like I can post her image because like she was a major cosplayer. Everyone like knows that she was there, so I feel safe like showing her face. But yeah, she was from Be the Spark cosplay, and oh my gosh, I want to show you and you can find her at Be the Spark cosplay on YouTube. So I think she has other like socials too, but YouTube was like the one that I like found easiest to just show here. So yeah, if you want to follow her on YouTube, she's at Be the Spark cosplay. Oh my gosh, and I got some photos of like the close-ups of like I was enthralled by the way that she did like the strips on like the sleeves and the legs, because the stitching, like it was so that you could see like the embroidery on the top, but you couldn't see any stitching on the bottom. And I was trying to figure out like, how did you do that? How did you do that? So what she ended up doing, if I remember right, was like she sewed it inside out and then flip the tubes out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that just sounds like and because some of the pieces she used were suede, I'm like, how the heck do you do that? Like, that is a nightmare fabric to work with. Like, she worked with so many different textured fabrics and like managed to make the stitches look good on textured fabrics. And I'm like, that is skill. And also there's like just the little black strips against like the velvety, and just like, oh my gosh. And also I asked her, sorry, I don't remember, but I know that she mentioned that I think some of the strips she used actually might have been used from like napkins or tablecloths or something that she got like upcycled. And it's just like she used so much ingenuity, and just her cosplay was brilliant and meticulously crafted. And one of the things that let me try and find. This isn't like gonna show it the best, but apparently she's like, what's the word? Like, she has like some sort of like limb disability where she's missing one of like her hands or something. And so she ended up like making a prosthetic hand, and like, I think she said it was 3D printed, but it's like, it has all these little holes in it and stuff. So it's really lightweight. Like, she managed to make this like super lightweight like prosthetic hand for her cosplay, and like I don't know how you even, like, that's just so, like, that must require so much engineering, and so much thinking three-dimensionally. Like, I cannot wrap my head around how you would make that, but it's just, it's brilliant. I just wanted to point that out because that's like another like hidden piece of like technical masterpiece in this cosplay. Like, Be The Spark cosplay definitely deserved to be a judge, because like that was just so freaking amazing. And I also really love the shoes. Like, the shoes just match that outfit freaking perfectly. So I just wanted to like talk about how much I adored this cosplay. Let's see, is this okay? Okay, I want to show you. Okay, this is the next one. Okay, I wanted to show you. There was I love the skirt of this person's cosplay. There was someone cosplaying like Bob Ross, but like a ball gown version of Bob Ross, and it was just the coolest thing. Oh my gosh, my headphones went out again. But like, they just had like this beautiful outfit with this like denim-y jacket, but this beautiful skirt, and just the the paintbrush and the little palette, and then the hair. It's just, if there was such a thing as like Bob Ross going to a ball, this person captured it perfectly. It was just such an amazing cosplay. It's beautiful, and it's so creative. It is so freaking creative and thought-provoking. It's beautiful. I loved it. Oh my gosh, I recognize the skirt on this, because so my sister has cosplayed Aziraphale before, and this, like, she has, I think, that same exact skirt. So I recognized this person as like, hey, are you Aziraphale? Are you cosplaying Aziraphale? And they were like, yes. And I asked to take their photo, and they let me take their photo. So this was someone cosplaying Aziraphale, and I thought that was so cool, because my sister also cosplays this character sometimes. So I just was like, that is so cool. Oh, and this was, okay, there were a ton of Barbie cosplayers there, but like, I didn't get like all their photos, but I asked this particular Barbie cosplayer if I could take her photo, and she was wearing like kind of like the striped outfit, and I really liked her hat, and her shoes were really cool too. But yeah, she was cosplaying as a Barbie, which I thought just like, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, and this was, I can't remember the character, but it's someone from Genshin Impact, which my sister's friend really likes Genshin Impact. So I was like, I kind of vaguely was like, are you like, I don't know. I felt like I should know who this character is. So I ended up asking like if I could take their photo, and it turns out they're from Genshin Impact. I can't remember which character, because it's my sister's friend who's really like into the series. So I know about that kind of, because my sister and her talk about that. So Either way, this is someone from Genshin Impact, and I thought the costume was like really cool, and the wig especially. Like the wig was just like the way they did the bangs and stuff. It has so much volume and stays up so good. So I'm like, that cosplay was just on point. Oh my gosh. And this was, I'm sure you probably know who this is. This is from The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I believe his name is Linus. And it was a guy dressed up as like Linus with the striped t-shirt, and he was carrying this blanket and a sign that said "Welcome Great Pumpkin." And I think I'm gonna assume it might have been like a significant other or something like that. He was with someone who's dressed as Charlie Brown, which I thought was really cool. Okay. Oh, I also wanted to talk about, there were some other cool stuff at the convention. Like there was this little R2D2 who was like, here's the thing, I don't know if it's remote controlled. I don't know if it was like auto or whatever, but there was an R2D2 that was like just, I guess, like rolling around the convention exhibit floor. And I thought that was really cool. Oh, and there was this really creepy, like, puppety thing that I ended up posing with. It was just, like giant life size. It kind of reminds me of Slenderman, but I'm not entirely sure if it's supposed to be him or not. But I thought the hands were cool, so I asked to get, like, a photo with it. Oh, and then there was this really cool, I don't know how to describe this. Like, it was actually a person wearing that. So it was a person wearing that, but it looks kind of like a Halloween animatronic. It might be Krampus. I'm not entirely sure because it has like these horns and these hooves. And on the back, it had like bells and like skulls. That was what made me think like maybe this is Krampus. I don't know. And he was wearing like this red like cloak. But this was like just, it was an actual costume. There was an actual human in it. So... Oh, and this was me posing by some like giant robot looking thing. I don't necessarily think it was a robot that could move. I think it was just like some sculpture type prop thingy. But I posed by it because I thought it was like really tall and cool. Oh, and this was me by some other background that they had in the convention center. I just posed for a photo, like a selfie with it. Oh, and then this is like a better image of that background thing. Oh, it says "do not enter" there. I wasn't sure if that was actually like intentional or if that was just like how do I put this? What wasn't clear to me was that saying "don't actually walk there," or was that saying "do not enter" because this is the vibes and we're trying to make it sound like it's gonna kill you? Like, I don't know. I wasn't entirely sure what that sign meant in that context. Oh, and one other thing I really liked, the convention center specifically had a quiet room, which, in case you don't know, that's kind of, I think these used to be called like cry rooms, but it's a place where I'd say it's mostly for neurodivergent people who might be overwhelmed with like sensory overload, but I think it's also helpful for like young children who also may end up like overwhelmed in busy, crowded places. But it's a place to go to that's supposed to be quieter than the rest of the convention center to kind of like de-stress and like make your brain less overwhelmed. So I thought it was really cool that the convention center had one, and it was actually in a location where I could find it. I didn't end up utilizing it, but I was glad to see that, oh, they actually like they have one, and it was in a place that it's like, okay, this is actually findable, unlike some conventions where it's like so out of the way that it's like, how is someone supposed to be able to find it? So yeah, I was really glad that they had that, because I think that's really important accessibility for major events where there are tons and tons and tons of people. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about some other cool stuff that I saw there. Like one of the vendors had had like, I think that was fake grass. I didn't actually touch it. But it was like fake plasticky like clover looking stuff laid out on their table, and then like this what looks like an Undertale text box saying "Congrats, you've touched grass," which I thought that was funny. And then, okay, I want to tell you a quick anecdote of, I actually used my Japanese skills in public. So in case you don't know, I can read hiragana and katakana and a very few kanji, not very many. And so like I can sound out hiragana as long as I know the actual Japanese word. And so I was like casually looking at some posters, and I saw the word opai. I recognized the hiragana for that, and I went up to, like, I ended up like looking at that, but then I was like, how do I approach the vendor about this? So I ended up pulling up Jisho on my phone, because that's like a Japanese dictionary. So I typed I typed in the word to show the vendor, like, hey, do you know what this means? Like, is this intentional? Because it's like, it's a very random thing to put on a poster. And they were like, they explained that, yeah, it's the character. The character would say something like that. So it's just the character just apparently is into boobs. But I was just like, is this intentional, or is this one of those like really bad, like, okay, you know how sometimes there are like translations into English that are just absolutely abysmal and or hilarious because of that? I was wondering, is this some English translation into Japanese that's really bad? No, it was opai. It was meant to be opai. So I don't know. It's like, that is just a random thing. Like, who puts like just random body parts on their poster? Like, like as words, I'm just like, that made me laugh. But hey, I used my Japanese skills. So, yeah, I guess that's like all of me talking about the convention. I did buy some stuff there, but this video is already like over 45 minutes long, so I don't think I want to go into like any of the stuff I bought right now. So yeah, I had a really freaking amazing time at Planet Comic-Con with my sister, and I hope that you all had a very great weekend. Also, I love Neopets. They're the best site ever in my humble opinion. Bye!